Hey guys, I'm Frank.
Hey, I'm Leo.
And welcome to a brand new episode of
Terror Recollect. Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Terror Recollect. Thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to be doing something kind of fun. We're going to be doing a twist on the normal top 10 list, and we're going to be slashing them in half. And Frank is going to be doing a top 5 list, and I'm going to be doing a different top 5 list.
My top 5 list is going to be focusing on my top 5 creature features.
And my top 5 list is going to be focusing on my favorite non-mainstream horror films. And Frank, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Okay, so when you think of the term creature feature, it's such a broad term, and it can mean different things to a lot of different people. It can mean sharks, it can mean alien predator, it can mean, critters. So because it's so broad, and there's so many things to cover on the topic, I decided to narrow it down to one thing, and that is fictional, earthbound creatures.
So no Jaws, no Anaconda.
No, there's so much to cover that we can probably cover that in a different episode.
We can definitely do that in a new episode for sure. There's always lots to cover in terms of that. Yeah. So Frank, what would you say then is your number 5?
Number 5 is a 1988 film directed by Stan Winston, who also did the effects, called Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead, yes.
And it stars the great Lance Henriksen as Ed Harley. And basically the movie it deals with the loss of a child, guilt, grief, and most of all revenge. So in the film, Ed Harley's son is accidentally killed. The town is already plagued with this urban legend of the great Pumpkinhead, who is usually summoned by someone who's wanting to get revenge.
Not to be confused with the Great Pumpkin from the Charlie Brown story. It's a little bit different.
This is much more gruesome version of
this is the Great Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ed Harley, in an attempt to get revenge on the most brutal way that he can think of, goes to this witch doctor and basically pleads to summon the Great Pumpkinhead to go after these kids. And then he does, and all hell breaks loose.
That's very cool.
Like, this guy wants to get the most satisfying revenge that he can think of instead of going after them himself.
Yeah, like you don't call the cops.
Yeah.
You don't, take a bat and like break their windshields.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm gonna have this creature and have them go after them. What would you say is your favorite scene in the whole movie, or what was the thing about it that resonates with you?
It's actually a scene. It's very brief, and it's actually the scene that, when reading the script, Lance Henriksen, it's the scene that made him want to take the role.
Oh, nice.
And it's basically when the body of his dead son rises up and asks him, like, what have you done? And even just thinking about it gives me kind of like the chills. But it's very, like, it's almost takes him up, like, he has to think about it, like, he's so bent on, hell-bent on this revenge scheme that even his dead son is like asking him, you were wrong to do that, kind of. So, and then he starts, without giving too much away, but he kind of has to start to stop and think about that.
That sounds like a fun movie. So
it
then,
really is.
What would you say then is your number 4 pick?
My number 4 pick is, we're going to jump ahead 10 years to 1998. Directed by Stephen Sommers. A movie called Deep Rising.
Oh, Deep Rising, yes.
And it's a very underrated film, but it has a great cast. It has Treat Williams, it has Famke Jensen, Wes Studi, Trevor Goddard, who played Kano in Mortal Kombat.
So you had someone from Street Fighter?
Yeah.
And you had someone from Mortal Kombat in the same movie.
Yep.
I love it.
So basically this movie is about this team of mercenaries who have this plan to board and hijack this cruise ship to essentially rob the hell out of it. Once they get on board, they discover that there's nobody there. Everybody's completely disappeared. They're not just disappeared, they're pretty much all dead. And then come to find out, there's this creature that is sort of like this gigantic octopus-ish creature, like a prehistoric sea creature almost. And so it's basically them trying to survive and get off. And
what would you say is your favorite scene, or what is something that resonated from the movie with you that's kept it in your memory so long?
This is one of those movies that is very underrated, and the effects are really well done. And there's a scene in particular that's very gruesome, and it's one of the mercenaries has already been killed. They're wondering where he went, yada yada yada. When they finally see the creature, they just try to blow it all to hell, and they blow it up to a point where their friend comes falling out of the stomach, and half of his face is off, and it's just very, very creepy, and they're just all in shock, and he's still talking, he's still alive. He's like, and it gives you. Ugh.
So then what would you say, moving on down your list, is your number 3 pick?
Number 3 pick is one of the movies that has one of the most gut-wrenching twist endings ever.
I have a feeling I know which one he's about to say.
And it's actually an adaptation of one of my favorite authors, Stephen King. It is The Mist.
Yes.
Yes. Directed by the great Frank Darabont.
Who's adapted a lot of King
all the best
works.
ones.
Yeah.
Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Even did work on Walking Dead. And it stars Thomas Jane, Marcia Gay Harden, and Laurie Holden. And it actually stars a lot of Walking Dead
I was
characters.
about to say, that's one thing I do remember after the fact, is that if you look back, there's a lot of cast from the original run of Walking Dead
the first
that
3
are in
seasons.
that are cast members in that, and that's because of Frank Darabont's involvement.
Yeah. So basically, if you haven't seen it, it's basically about these group of people that get trapped in this supermarket with these creatures outside, and they don't have what they are. They don't know where they came from. They're just in this mist that has taken over the city. And it's about, inside you have these people that are split into groups. Some people believe it's it's like the wrath of God coming down and stuff like that, and other people are like, no, it's aliens or something like that. They don't know what it is. So it's basically about them not only trying to survive the creatures, but trying to survive this rival group that has been created, within themselves.
And I'm seeing a little parallel here between that and The Walking Dead also.
Yeah.
Because it's the same kind of, maybe even that's why Frank Darabont got involved with The Walking Dead, because he had presented it so well in The Mist, because there you have that parallel of the danger's not only the outside force that's trying to come in, it's your fellow people that are an equal threat.
Yeah, and Marcia Gay Harden plays the leader of the bad group, I guess you could say, she's the religious nut. It's the wrath of God, etc. And she's actually the scariest monster in the film. But she plays it so well.
That sounds like something Stephen King would do.
Right, yeah. So that's my number 3.
That's very cool. And is there a specific scene or something about it specifically that's resonated with you?
Without giving it away for those who haven't seen it, it's the ending. It all builds up to the ending.
The ending.
Yeah. And if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So without giving it away, just know that that's my favorite scene. And
this look on my face is for that ending. Yeah. Moving on, though. What is your number 2 pick?
My number 2 pick is a 1990 film directed by Ron Underwood, who also did City Slickers and Mighty Joe Young, called Tremors.
Tremors.
I have
seen Tremors.
Yes, one of the best creature movies ever made. Stars Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon, who we all know. And
you ought to know.
Yeah. So it's basically about this small town in Nevada, and that are kind of like under the attack of these underground creatures that hunt by sound, called graboids. They end up calling them graboids. So it's basically about them trying to survive and also destroy these creatures that they have no idea where they came from.
And that kind of fear is a little different, because it's not only a creature that you're afraid of, but it's almost like those of us in California, whenever anyone says the word earthquake, it's something that is under you, that you can't control, that you can't see. And I know that's something. I remember I watched that movie in high school. Like, it was something that my teacher brought in on a lazy Tuesday or something. It was like, we're going to watch Tremors today. Yeah. And it was just like, oh my God, why are you showing us this? And that's one of the things that I remember being tripped out about, was just like, that fear comes from beneath. Yeah. It comes from underneath you.
And it's kind of like the first quiet place, where it's very, when you think about it, it's very hard not to make a sound. Like in the movie, the slightest footsteps will attract them. So they got to be really clever and stuff like that. But it has a lot of comedy in it. But when things go down, I mean, they go down, and it's the actors, Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, all of them, they all did a great job. And
I remember one part specifically where there was, anytime one of the guys would say a bad word, he always say, "Pardon my French."
Pardon my French.
as Fred Ward. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been saying that nonstop. Like anytime like I say something and I'm around mixed company, I always say "pardon my French" or "excuse my French"
Yeah.
for exactly that reason. It's a callback to the time I watched it on a random Tuesday in high school. Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. Is there something specific about it that resonates with you, or a favorite scene?
Where the couple are in the in the desert or whatever, and one guy gets eaten, the other woman hides in the car, thinking she's safe, but it ends up pulling the entire car like down, and she gets buried alive. It's pretty creepy.
Those are cool.
And I gotta give a kudos to the special effects team, because those monsters are amazing.
Yeah, and that's practical effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
no
pre-CGI.
Yeah.
And when the camera had to see it for real, or it had to be manipulated a certain way. And, yeah, hardcore horror fans, at least Frank's and I's age, we definitely
Appreciate
we
those.
appreciate
Yeah.
those, because there was something very visceral about that type of effect.
Sorry, but CGI can't touch practical effects to me.
There's nothing like the practical effects, especially when it comes to something like horror, or maybe for other fans like science fiction, where it's something tangible, the way that the light reflects on it, or you know that there was a hand in it, versus something that's created in a computer.
Yeah.
So then moving on, what is your number one pick?
My number one pick is actually the highest grossing horror movie of all time. A 2017 remake called It.
Oh, yes.
Directed by Andy Muschietti, starring Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, who gives an outstanding performance. They all do. I mean, the kids take that movie. I mean, they make it their own, and they're basically one of the best parts to me.
Absolutely.
You okay?
I'm fine. What's wrong with you?
None of your business.
There's a kid outside. Looked like someone killed him.
And their chemistry between each other is amazing.
Yeah.
And not to mention, a lot of people are afraid of clowns. I'm not one of them.
I'm not one of them.
But damn if it wasn't a great movie.
It was a fantastic movie. It made me appreciate clowns.
Yeah.
And go, oh my God, they really are creepy. They really are creepy, or at least the way Bill Skarsgård portrays Pennywise. Because my biggest thing going into this was like, no one's gonna touch Tim Curry's
Exactly. I had the
Pennywise.
same.
It was like when they announced the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010. It's like Jackie Earle Haley. Sorry, going off topic. Jackie Earle Haley is an amazing actor, but you can't outdo Robert Englund. So I went into it with that mentality.
Yeah.
No one can outdo Tim
Curry.
Curry. But damned if I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
It was, and what made it work is that it was a different interpretation.
Yeah.
One example that I heard in terms of that too was like comparing Jack Nicholson's Joker to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
They're both amazing. It's because they're played in two different interpretations.
Yeah.
Two different very talented actors are doing their own spin on them.
Yeah.
But this is your number one, so keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so no, you're good. So basically, I had the same mentality. I love the 1990 miniseries, but when you go back and think about it, there was a lot to be improved upon, especially the acting. I wasn't a big fan of any of the acting in that movie besides Tim Curry and maybe.
I think that's why Tim Curry stands out more. Like most people don't go, man, remember those kids?
Yeah.
They had great chemistry.
Yeah.
No one really says that.
Like Seth Green was in it.
It was cool.
The late great John Ritter.
Yes.
Was probably one of the best parts as far as the acting.
I actually like the adults in the mini. I mean, we're going a little off topic again here, but I actually like the adults in the miniseries more than the kids.
Yeah.
Which was why I went into the 2017 It with zero expectations and already thinking this isn't going to win me over.
Yeah.
But from everything in that movie won me over so much. And to date myself a little bit, I was the same age of those kids in 1989 when the story takes place. So for me, it was,
reliving your whole,
It was like I have seen my childhood in a movie, although we didn't face clowns.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I've always felt about horror movies, and even slasher movies in particular, is that in a sense they're almost like parables. Like the way that the kids in Derry faced Pennywise, we may have faced bullies, we may have faced difficulties in school, we may have faced problems fitting in, we may have faced not being good at sports. So there's almost a transmogrification. I didn't want to use such a big word, but where the thing that we were coming up against as kids and what those kids on the screen came up against became the same item.
Yeah.
In my life as I'm reflecting, and that's one of the big things that I love. And when someone asked me, what was your favorite film of 2017? I said It.
It's yeah.
Unapologetically, I said
Yeah.
it's 2017. It's It. And it has me very excited for the new one,
Yeah.
but also a little nervous because how can you...
top the kids' performance?
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're at least making cameos.
Yeah, they're at least in it, which is fantastic.
But it's funny because my wife used to be so afraid of clowns, but even she loved this movie. So that's saying something.
That goes to show.
Yeah.
That goes to show.
And if I had to pick a favorite scene or something, it's not really technically a specific scene in general, but the fact that the main character Bill is so dead set on trying to find his brother Georgie.
Yeah.
His parents are like, oh, he's dead, you know, leave it alone. But throughout the whole movie, he's certain that he's going to find him. And that's one of the coolest parts about this movie is that one of the themes is once you get older, you stop believing. So none of the adults can see Pennywise. So it's really basically these kids looking after themselves, basically going up against this entity of this monster all by themselves. So you kind of feel a little sympathetic toward them.
And that's a thing that kids have in their adolescence is sometimes they're going through things that no one understands.
Yeah.
And that's where that parallel of what kids go through in real life and what the kids went through in the movie was another reason why I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah.
Because it does give you that way of almost living vicarious thing. Oh yeah, I remember when so-and-so didn't believe me about this or when I was struggling with this. Yeah, for sure. I'm really glad you picked that as a number one because that...
I had to.
2017's It is one of my absolute favorites. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, so actually we realized that we are out of time. We went longer than we expected.
Yeah, this actually ran a little bit longer than the first two episodes that we did. But in a sense, that's good because they gave us an opportunity to go into depth and detail as to what we love about the creature features and stuff like that. And not cut it short.
Yeah, everything we talk about, we want to do it justice.
Absolutely.
Because it's things that we're passionate about, things we love.
Absolutely.
Which brings me to Leo's top 5.
What are we going to do with it?
Yeah, we are going to actually wait for and put it out next episode.
Next episode, that'll actually be great. And what are Leo's top 5 non-mainstream horror films?
They?
I know what they are, but you guys will find out soon. And actually, I am actually going to be out of state this coming week, so I'm not going to be here to be able to edit episode 4, but watch this channel.
Yeah, subscribe.
And subscribe and actually hit the notification bell so that way you guys are alert because in 2 weeks, we're going to be bringing you episode 4. And so far, we've been bringing them on Sundays.
Yeah.
So I guess officially we're releasing episodes every Sunday. So in 2 Sundays, watch this channel, hit the notifications so you guys are alerted as to when we're going to upload that.
Yeah, and since we kind of cut you guys short today, and we went longer than we anticipated, we are going to throw you a little gift, and that is the bloopers from episode 1.
We do have bloopers from the very first episode. They're a little embarrassing, but just to give you guys a little gift on the way to that we're going to see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Yes. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you so much.
I was watching PJ Soul's Table, and it was really cool because Christina Kleb. So I was watching PJ Soul's Table. Sorry. So damn it! I was so close. PJ Soul's Table. Okay. Don't laugh. I'm breathing on purpose.
No, you're like, PJ Soul's Table.
I'm giving myself the thought in my head so I can go, and then I hear you laughing. I swear we're gonna get it in this one.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Maybe we're not. Oh God, I can't do it.
I was gonna laugh anyway.
Okay. All right. And we have plenty to share with you guys